Hello, welcome to a match reaction video here on Latte Firm. The final game of the season has come and gone. This season, 24-25, is finally over. And I got to be honest with you, I am relieved. It's been mentally draining, but Arsenal have signed off with a win on the road away down at Southampton thanks to a Martin Odegaard goal. Where's that been all season? Coming off the bench and smashing it in from 25 yards. Great to end the season. Great to get the 3 points. Great to finish second, I guess. It could have been so much better. But it's over. It's done. We now look ahead to a long summer of transfer speculation and rest. That is what we need. Welcome to the show. If you're tuning in for the first time, please do, of course, subscribe to the channel. Get involved in the chat. Hit like on the video. It's a massive help to the channel. And before I forget, thank you so much for everybody tuning in throughout the entire season. It's been a real roller coaster of emotions, been a real roller coaster of performance and quality and standard. And I've just enjoyed chatting to all of you throughout the duration. I will have a think about what we do over the summer holidays, and I can't wait to get back going again for next season, 25-26. Hopefully will be our year. Right, let's go to the chat. Let's keep the chat active tonight. I'm going to get through talking points tonight. So the starting lineup, interesting changes from Mikel Arteta, who, of course, himself sat in the stands next to Josh Kroenke and the C-suite of Arsenal Football Club. He then spoke about the work that Arsenal have to do starting tonight, that Arsenal have to do in terms of rebuilding for next season. Some farewell is due to one or two players in that team. Quite nice to see Mikel rotate that starting 11, maybe sort of wishing some players goodbye. Kieran Tierney, Sweet Prince, his time at Arsenal is over. And what a way to sign off. And we will talk about, of course, the final Premier League standings. Let's go to the chat first up. Tamina Ahmed first in the house. Hi, FK. How are you doing today? I'm good, Tamina. It's nice to hear from you. I am relieved, my friend. The season is over. It's been mentally draining, physically draining. And I don't think I could have taken much more of it. I've got to be honest with you. The highs have been inexplicably high. Real Madrid, as an example, the lows have been devastatingly low, and I'm just glad to see the back of it. Tamina's getting excited about the transfer signing speculations. Gyökeres joining Arsenal this summer. Rodrigo joining Arsenal too, she says. Did you see Gyökeres' penalty today? The way he bullet penalty in injury time against Benfica. Phenomenal player. I really hope we're in for him. Paul James says, evening all. Thank God the season has ended. Looking forward to the next one, but this season has drained me. You and me both, Paul. It's been exhausting mentally, in the socials, physically, going to the games, the decisions, the injuries, when's it going to end? That sort of theme that's been throughout the season. But you know what? You guys have made me get through it, and I love chatting to you guys. And Karen, welcome to the show as well. Good evening. Hope everyone is well, she says. Dave's in the chat, says, good end to the season for us. Nice to see Tierney score on his final game. Apparently he said to Mikel Arteta yesterday he was going to score in his final game if he got the start. And he delivered. What a banger from Odegaard as well. More of that, please. Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with Martin Odegaard. We'll get to that later. Oase, welcome to the show. Says, evening all. At last, the below par season is finally over. On we move to next season. I need a rest, though, my friend. Time to spend big in the summer and get our hands on the Premier League title. Feels like we've been saying that for so many years at Arsenal Football Club. This is the summer. This is the window. I still maintain we absolutely fumbled the bag last summer, having taken it to the last weekend against a top team in Manchester City. We really messed it up by bringing in Raheem Sterling as our only offensive player. I still can't get over it. And then in January, after Saka had got injured just before Christmas and Gabriel Jesus got injured early Jan, we didn't take advantage of any potential movement in the January window, and we just came up short. And it's not a surprise to so many Arsenal fans. So club have to action that, and they've got to remedy that this summer. Jonathan K, welcome to the show. Big up FK. Draining season over. Love the word draining. Everybody's using draining tonight. Hope the club surprises us with some big signings and intent. Listen, I've been bantering with non-Arsenal fans throughout the season, and you got to say to Liverpool, you got to doff your cap. Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, and Kirkes from Bournemouth. I mean, they've just about lifted the Premier League title, I think. I cut the grass, wasn't watching. And they look like they're about to spend just shy of a couple of £100 million. So the intent is there. You got to respect it. Arsenal have to react. Manchester City will not be sitting around. Of course, they finished third this season, having spent massive in the January window. Trent for Bibbins, good evening to you, my friend. Says, good evening, FK. Let's forget about the season, move on to next season. A lot of you are really looking forward to next season already. I mean, you're kind of getting my juices flowing, I've got to be honest. Shane McDee says, great to have that season over. Thought Isak was packing his bags. How close? How many times are we left relying on Unai Emery to do anything good? And he fumbled it. And listen, I've seen that decision to rule off that goal it is going to be a major talking point. I think Villa have lodged a complaint. It might even go legal. Who knows? But yeah, look, we need to stop talking about Isak. It is not going to happen. Louis says, thank God the season is over. Louis, thank you so much for joining throughout the entire season, my friend. Really appreciate all of your comments. Really appreciate you joining us. Love reading from you. As I do from Donald as well. Good evening, Karen, he says. Tierney, wow, what a goal. Ben White is back. Those overlaps, those crosses, those sweet, sweet assists. Oh, he's going to cook next season. Viraj Janae just says, Latte FM's the only thing that got me through this season. Oh, thanks for the memories, FK. Thank you, Viraj. If you're being sincere, I'll take that. It's a pleasure to be able to just talk to you guys in the heat of the moment after a game. There are bigger and better channels out there, bigger and better, much more talented content creators out there. But I'm grateful to each and every one of you for just tuning in and making it the show that it is. And listen, next season, we're going to press the reset button. We're going to change it all up and have many more different videos and formats. I think I've got the winning formula. Just wait and see what happens, starting with daily shows throughout the summer transfer windows. Oasis comes back and says, hurrah, Kieran Tierney. What an amazing servant to the club. One of the best players during the early stages in Mikel's era. Unlucky with the amount of injuries that he has suffered from. Ain't that the truth? So many of our players suffering injuries. Kieran Tierney more than most, of course. We'll talk about Kieran shortly. Tava Ruiz, Tierney goal, Wanyeri minutes, Raya golden glove, of course. The second golden glove in 2 years for David Raya. At least we ended on a high note. Could have been higher, should have been higher. But yeah, it's a positive way to end quite a challenging season. Mr. Clock says, evening all. Good evening to you, my friend. Yamin Yamal is in the house. Good evening, Unai being Unai. Yambele, how many times have we sat here relying on Unai? Like, I haven't forgiven him for Baku. He was a mess of a manager at Arsenal. Our boy Wayne absolutely adores him. I cannot tell you why. And he's fumbled the bag again. They could have done a madness today, and Newcastle might have been kicked out of the Champions League, but that is the way that it is. Yembele, I hope you are well, my man. KSSMYW says, howdy, FK. Had some great highs, but I'll be glad to put this season behind us. You and me both, my friend. Let's not forget, this is a season where we pumped Real Madrid 5-1 on aggregate. We beat Manchester City. Do you remember that? Stay humble. The Miles Lewis Skelly celebration. We've had some big games, big performances, big nights in isolation, big matches in isolation that we can look back and feast on. But of course, to not win anything, to end a season that was supposed to be, so much glory for us. We had so much hope, so much optimism, so much faith, but to come out empty-handed and to see that lot up the road win their trophy. It's been a real bitter pill to swallow. I am looking forward to the break. Tavo says also they lost 4-1. That is a symbol of their season. Let's not forget. I know they shithoused their way through to winning the Europa League, but they have been utter dross in the Premier League. Had it not been for 3 even shitter teams, they genuinely might have gone down this season. What a story that would have been. Paul says, a massive thank you to FK and the Latte FM community. You're all great, even the people I disagree with. Paul, come on, man. That's wholesome. I love it. I don't know if you're on Patreon, but the Patreon community is phenomenal as well. We've had so many giveaways this season, so many pairs of tickets. We've had access to so many match day tickets. We've had shirts and all sorts being given away. Really appreciate all of the generosity that all of you guys show. And Paul, it's fantastic to have you in the chat, man. Right, keep the chat active. Loads of chats coming in as the numbers start coming in thick and fast. Let's bring up some of the slides. So listen, I don't know what I kind of expected going into today's game. One last win for the road, of course. I thought Mikel Arteta would go strong, actually, because we all know he's just a raving lunatic, but he made some changes. I'm surprised not to see Neto, given that Raheem Sterling and Wanyeri and Tierney got a start. Neto could have had a farewell appearance, but Raya obviously going for that golden glove. That was important. Thomas Partey playing at right back with White, Kivior and Tierney. Tierney, of course, playing as a farewell sort of game. Disappointed that he wasn't the captain, but Declan Rice was in midfield. Rice, he just cannot get a rest ever, alongside Marino. And of course, did I say Partey at right back? I've totally balls that up. These lineups, why don't they do it in flipping order of the team? So Partey wasn't at right back. Ben White was, of course, with Kivior and Tierney, and Zinni playing at left back. And it was Partey, Rice and Marino in the midfield. Wanyeri, Sterling, Raheem Sterling. Potentially the worst signing that we've ever seen. Maybe. Do you remember all the hype? You're going to see the best of me. Oh, that video still does me in. And then Edu in the interview after the first day, after the transfer window shut, saying that he wasn't our main choice. I mean, what a club. What a club. But Raheem Sterling, never going to see him play for Arsenal again. The bench, Neto, Saka, Ødegaard coming off the bench and scoring. Trossard, Jorginho, who, of course, will also move on from Arsenal. Kai Havertz, who is just great to have him back, but we're desperately short still. Henry Francis, Cabia, and Miles Lewis Skelly. Donald says, I want a hungry vintage Ben White that can't get dropped next season. I thought Ben White was exquisite today. We'll talk about him in just a second. How many of you guys think that today was the farewell? Of course, it was for Tierney, but how many of you want to see Zinchenko moved on? Came close in that first half with a long-range shot, deflected, of course. Ranieri finally getting minutes. Lots of people talking about how he's fallen out with Arteta, but obviously not. Unless this is some weird batshit psychological warpath game that sees Ranieri leave Arsenal. This is his farewell. No, Mikel. And Raheem Sterling. Could he be the worst signing we've ever had? And I mean that respectfully. Dave says there may be bigger channels out there, but they're certainly not better. That's so kind of you, Dave. Really appreciate it, man. Jonathan says, to be honest, FK, I had no interest in this game. Watch the other games. Farewell, Raheem Sterling. I have to be honest with you. I managed to somehow watch multi-screen. So I had this game on and some of the Champions League sort of qualifying games. And the first half was so boring. Look, the boys are on holiday. They need that holiday. The season ended some time ago, but our football is just so dull. And I know there were changes in the team and we're missing so many players, but it was so robotic, so process-driven, so slow, tippy-tappy, passy out to the left, out to the right. Few dangerous crosses in from Kieran Tierney, but there's nothing there. Nothing that really gets you off your seat. Really, really dull. So I don't blame you for that. Mike says Raheem Sterling is stuck at Chelsea for 2 more seasons. Is that right? He's got 2 more years to go at Chelsea. No one is taking him on loan after this disaster. Yeah, look, it's been a really terrible, terrible signing. Donald says Sterling could have made a vital pass in a good passage of play, but he fumbled the bag for a Saints counter. That kind of sums it all up, doesn't it, with Raheem? And that is just the way that it is. But listen, changes to the team, farewell to some of those players, and 2-1 victory on the road. 1 more for the season. Of course, we had Aaron Ramsdale in the opposition goal, got a lovely standing ovation from the Arsenal faithful in that second half. And it's job done. 3 points, another win. And it's helped us secure second. I mean, second was always in the bag. City were never going to sort of overcome the goal difference, but it was good to get that win and good to get the 3 points. And of course, David Raya, who we'll talk about in just a minute's time. So in terms of getting in the lead, before we talk about the game, with the goals, actually, Mikel in the stands, of course. He was booked in that game against Newcastle, which meant he had a touchline ban, and he was there. He was sat alongside Josh Kroenke. I wonder what conversation they would have had today. I wonder what Arteta would have whispered into Josh's ear the first time that a shot went off target. You know, the C-suite obviously there behind Mikel, who looked in good spirits actually throughout the entire game, celebrating, of course, both goals, but Josh Kroenke had a very sort of serious face on him. Josh obviously was in town for the Champions League win yesterday for our women's team, a phenomenal achievement, second time that they've won that. And apparently Mikel Arteta in his post-match interview said that the work starts tonight. That's why Josh is in town. They're going to talk tonight, talk tomorrow about what rebuild is important for Arsenal Football Club. But it was a very different and unique feeling today. Mikel Arteta in the stands, serving his suspension, and of course not raving around like a lunatic on the touchline in the manager's box. Oh, what a moment this was. What a moment this was, people. Absolutely sensational. Kieran Tierney giving us the lead in that first half. Just the most wholesome moment. And I'm here for it. And, you know, it was a nice move from Arsenal. Ben White on the overlap, Ben White with the cross, Ben White with the assist. How good to see him back. And Kieran Tierney, like a massive centre forward, just poking it home. And just look at the joy on his face in that left image, of course, reeling away towards Ben White. When he scored, the slow motion replays just showed him smiling ear to ear, grinning with happiness, with joy. It was a marvelous moment for a player who has been a wonderful professional. And some of you have said it in the chat already. He's really struggled with injuries ever since his move from Celtic. Never quite sort of held that left back position down. And unfortunately, it felt like the game had sort of surpassed his technical ability. But he holds his head up high so firmly in the last 2-3 months. You know, he had a difficult time under Arteta, went out on loan, if you remember, came back, and he's forced his way back into this starting 11. And he's the game time he gets, he comes on, he leaves everything on that pitch. He's an absolute pro. And I'm going to miss him. I'm really going to miss him. There were moments in that first half when he kept whipping that ball into the box where I thought, Kieran, what's going on here? You playing for a new contract? But I think a move is done. I think he goes back to Scotland and he goes back with his head held high, like I say, model pro, brilliant pro. That's the sort of guy that you want in the team, in the squad. He takes everything seriously. We know it. We've seen it. And he's still so young and he's still got so much football in him. I just hope that he goes on and has the career that he deserves, whether it's back in Scotland, of course, Hand of Arsenal reporting in the January window that he'd already agreed a move back to Celtic. He was in conversations with Celtic, but Arsenal decided to hold on to him for the second half of this season. And there it was. I mean, we had chances before Tierney's goal. Marino, Partey, Gabby Martinelli with that sort of touchdown and, good save from Ramsdale. They all went close to giving us the lead, but we got the lead in the 43rd minute just before halftime. Ben White's cross in at the near post. Kieran Tierney dashing in with that toe poke and scoring to put us 1-0 up. What a great moment it was. And Benjamin White, listen, he looks like he is back. He was motoring up and down that right-hand side. I've said it a few times. I think Ben White is brilliant, better than Timber going forward. I think his execution, and there's no surprise that Ødegaard has a little bit more about him. We'll talk about the skip in just a second. Defensive, I think Timber is stronger, but it's just so good to have Ben White back in the team. Donald says Kieran Tierney will go down in Gooner hearts. I think you're absolutely right, my friend. Kieran Tierney is, just a wholesome character. Mike says he's too good for Celtic, to be fair. Should stay in the Premier League. I can't knock him. Can't knock a player for wanting to go back home. Can't knock a player for wanting to go back to a club that looked after him so well and gave him everything that he got. And if Celtic, Celtic are a big club, they're likely to reward him well, and he might go back and captain them. That's a big move for Kieran, and we can only wish him well. And if he does end up staying in the Premier League, fair play to him. You would get a standing ovation if and when he comes back to the Emirates. Farhan, welcome to the show. Says love that for Katie without injuries. I thought he'd be a future Arsenal captain. Certainly has a personality, Farhan. Serious, professional, just takes the game so seriously. Love it. Absolutely love it. But we wish him well. Thomasins in the house says, big up Latte. Just glad the season is over. Lego Head needs to leave. Finishing second for a third time in a row is not good enough. Rene has been with us for 5 months and won the Champions League. Rene Slager, of course, winning it for the women's team yesterday. Thomasin, I'm not Lego Head Arteta out. I think finishing second 3 seasons in a row is no mean feat given where we were. Remember where we were just 4 or 5 years ago. I think it's a big opportunity missed for us this season, and I think there are things that Mikel Arteta needs to address. There are things the C-suite need to address. There are things that the players need to address. And so we have to regather and we have to go again in the new season. The summer is about rebuilding. The summer is about rehab. The summer is about planning and starting off with a flying start. We've got to come out of the blocks flying next season. Big pressure on Mikel Arteta, but I'm not looking forward to him leaving anytime soon, put it that way. Sam, welcome to the show, says, I feel like we saw what we've missed all season with White today. He's such a help in attack. Mate, you and me both. Ben White on the overlap. There's no finer sight. And it's no surprise that actually in the last few weeks, Ben White's probably helped Ødegaard in training, but he's helping Ødegaard sort of performances on the pitch. It's just good to have him back. Good to have options. And Kieran Timber has been phenomenal. Of course, now having surgery to recover from the injury that he's sort of picked up, and hopefully he'll be back for next season. But what options to have? We've missed Ben White terribly. Vig says KT is still one of the best crossers at the club. Sad to see him go. Yeah, whipped in some delightful balls in that first half. Honestly, had he have got a couple of assists, I'd be sitting here having a bit of a wobble about him leaving. Sam says, we'll miss KT so much. Best of luck to him. I would swap my head for Lego any day. You're telling me, Oysen. But there we are. Thomas says, I care about trophies, Latte. Celebrating second is not good enough. I still love how you call me Latte. But listen, I want trophies just like you. More than you, Thomas. I've been supporting this club. I know you personally. I've been supporting this club for a long time, much longer than you. I know what it means to win trophies. I know what it takes to win trophies. I know that feeling of what it feels like to win trophy after trophy. And I want it so bad. Like I'm craving it. It's all I crave for as a football fan. But there is a process and there is a journey, and where we have come from over the last 4 or 5 years has been horrific. And listen, that does not excuse Mikel Arteta. He has to do much better in domestic cups. He has to do much better in terms of applying pressure to the management of to the leaders of the club about getting the players in the windows, because he's not being helped, and he has to do a lot better with rotating the squad. Vig says, last time we finished second, 3 seasons in a row, we won the Premier League in the subsequent season. I like that. Arteta needs to deliver next season, or he needs to go. Make or break. Vigs, there you go. The pressure is on Mikel next season. He will have to deliver. So farewell, Kieran Tierney, my friend. What a wonderful player. What a wonderful human being you are. Good luck in wherever you need to go. We did concede early in that second half, ladies and gents, boys and girls. And listen, on this channel, we have praised Nico Jova for all of the glorious stuff that he's been doing with us offensively from set pieces, but defensively from set pieces, we've struggled this season. And I know we've missed, I mean, today in particular, Gabriel and Saliba, and that's not easy. But we have looked susceptible at set pieces defensively, and there is something that Nico Jova needs to address. And I think it's only fair that, you know, we eulogize about these sorts of people and professionals and players and coaches and all that sort of stuff throughout the season. It's only fair to point a little bit of, you know, encouragement in terms of what he's got to do next year. Defensively, we've got to tighten up. We've drawn far too many games this season. We've dropped too many points from winning positions, and we've conceded far too many goals from set pieces, and that has to improve. Jonathan says, Gabriel is our leader in defense, FK. You cannot replace his voice. You can't replace his head, mate. You can't replace him. But I understand the sentiment. I think there is work to do, and I feel that defensive reinforcements are a must. We've got to get more out of Calafiori, who today was not injured. He was left out because he felt a little bit of sort of discomfort. He's played a lot of football in the last couple of weeks, and he was ahead of schedule, Mikel Arteta said. So he's not injured. Hopefully he just gets the summer off to rest. But Timber, we've got to get more out of Calafiori. We've got to get more out of Tomiyasu when he's back, if he's ever going to be back. Jakub Kiwior has looked really good. Maybe Arteta now says, right, you know, every now and again, you give Gabriel and Saliba a bit of a rest. You've got the likes of Kiwior on the bench who can do a job. Ben White coming back, got to get much more out of him. So defensively, we were down to bare bones. I still fancy us to add in one more player. We were in the race for Dean Howson, of course, who's now signed for Real Madrid. Why would you join that lot? And that is where we are. No, I am not saying we take down the mural, although I did find that quite amusing. But look, Nico Jova, he's done a great job. He just needs to work on the defensive side now. Galvo, welcome to the show. Says, only 2 trophies that we're really hunting. Runner-up in one, last 4 in the other. That's not far away. I understand why you say that, Galvo, but I've got to disagree with that quite strongly, in that Arsenal Football Club are the size of club, and we've got such a rich pedigree of winning trophies domestically. We should be big enough and bold enough and confident enough to try and go firing on all 4 fronts. I know it's difficult. I'm not saying please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying we need to win the quadruple, but we are better than, you know, going out 3rd round in the FA Cup. We are better than getting to the semi-finals against Newcastle and getting turned over. I know we've had injuries this season, but the squad has to be addressed. We have to go stronger in both domestic cup competitions next season, as well as the Premier League, and of course, giving it our all for the Champions League. But I understand what you're saying, so I don't want to be too harsh. Farhan says, we haven't been keeping enough clean sheets. Need to fix that next season. Yeah, of course. I mean, David Raya just won the Golden Glove, but it's still not enough. V Vlad, where have you been, my man? You'll be a little bit late. Good evening, FK and chat. By the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, please do like the video. Massive help, and subscribe to the channel on our way to 25,000 subscribers. What else? Jonathan K says, might be Arsenal trying to get him to avoid Italy internationals. Well, listen, he's got no international football, no international competitions this summer, so he will get some rest. But I'm hoping that we just need to get more out of our defensive players. It's just not enough. Their availability is your best strength. That's why I loved Granit Xhaka so much. You know, players like that who are just available every week. Sin D says, I'm kind of disillusioned with this project. The transfer window will be era defining. There has been far too much obsession with systems, defensive set pieces, and not taking risks. Let's see. We are quite pragmatic in our football. We are quite process driven. I think you're right. I'd like to see a bit more fluidity, a bit more creativity, a bit more, you know, let the shackles off and just go play with the defensive balance that we've got. But the project, yeah, I mean, look, on paper, 3 seconds in a row, no trophies again. I can forgive you for describing it as, you know, being disillusioned with it or being a disappointment. But there is context this season, and we will have to go again next year. Sam says, I wonder how many goals off set pieces came after the Havertz and then Gabriel injuries. Kai Havertz, of course, that defensive powerhouse. You know what he's like, that press, the work rate, defensive set pieces. You're absolutely right, Sam. I'd be interested to see if we started conceding more when they went down. I'll look into that for next late night latte. Johnny says, facts, FK, if Pep and Klopp take domestic cups seriously, who are we to throw away cups? I'm not suggesting that Arteta throws them away. I just think we need a stronger squad and better rotation, better preparedness to go further in those cups. I don't think he's throwing them away. I do think he cares about them, of course. But it's just disappointing. It's as simple as that. Vig's final thing on Nico says, got to take a pay cut. The number of goals we've conceded from set pieces is genuinely concerning. No idea what these guys are practicing during training. Look, I think I've said my piece on Nico. You know, we credit him when credit is due, but he's got some work to do. The team need to be tighter defending set pieces next season. And Galvo says, FK, with the amount of football to be played now and how light our squad was due to injuries, I think it's possible. I just think it's possible to go deep in those competitions, but that's just my feeling. Yeah, look, I get it, man. I get it. I just think Arsenal need to go out and add 4 or 5 more players net and just go stronger by prepping the squad, by rotating the squad and having the depth to go stronger in those tournaments. That is my opinion. Oh, Martin Odegaard. I got a bone to pick with you, my friend, because first of all, what a goal. Great to see him back in the squad. Great to see him not looking as gaunt. Is that the right word? I feel like it's the right word. Not looking as skeletal as he has recently. Looks a little bit bigger. Certainly looks happier. Moving a little bit freely. There's rumours that he might have to have surgery in the summer. But until that is confirmed by the club, we can only comment on what we see. And what we see and what we have seen in the last 3-4 sort of weeks is a desire to shoot more often. You know, we saw it in the PSG game. We saw it against Newcastle, and today he's picked the ball up from 25 yards out and twatted it into the back of the net. And on the one hand, I'm like, Skip, this is fantastic. You know, I this is what we know you're capable of doing this. And brilliant that you've got it today, right at the death, 3 points, fantastic. Love to see you smiling and happy and all that sort of stuff. On the other hand, where has it been all season? What have you been doing? Like, why have you not shot more on sight? The number of games that are just going through my head now, moments in games where you've just opted for the pass or you've just not wanted to shoot from long range. Why? You know you've got this shot on you. You know you've got the accuracy. He's done it before. We all have short memories in this game. He's had 2 seasons where he scored ridiculous goals. I hope he's fit. I hope he doesn't need surgery. If he does need surgery, I hope it's a very, minor procedure, and I hope he just takes the summer and recovers. We all want to see the best of Martin Odegaard next season. We want to see him flying. We want to see him dominating the ball and creating things for us, chances, big chances. We want to see him scoring great goals. We want to see him happy and flying. And so I'm really sort of frustrated about Odegaard because I feel he's just a phenomenal player, but this season he's been really up and down, and it's been testing for him on a number of fronts. I hope he resets more than anyone in the squad. I think he's a wonderful footballer. I really want him to retain the captaincy. I want him to lead us out next year. And I want him to be back to his best because we know how good he can be. Speaking of best, Hand of Arsenal is in the house. He says, FK, much love for being part of the journey this season. Big summer ahead with the eyes emoji. Duh, he started already. Just behave, my friend, please. It's only the 25th of May and he's getting us all excited. Jonathan K. just on Odegaard says, I think he is finally fit now. I hope so. JK, because he's moving a bit freer. We just talked about Ben White and how he plays, and maybe subconsciously that just sort of releases Odegaard. I don't know. He looks fitter. He looks hungrier, and he looks braver when he's got the ball at his feet. And again, I'm so pleased to see it, but I'm left wondering, why did he not do it more this season? Sam says his striking seems much more physically solid too lately. Cleaner, more powerful contact. To me, that really points towards the injury finally maybe heating up. Yeah, listen, look, I was just about to say, yeah, listen, when you're injured, you blah, 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 blah. I don't know what it feels like to be a footballer, obviously. I don't even know what it feels like to be playing with an injury. So many of these professional footballers play with injuries, play with injections, play with painkillers every week. We do not know. The most pain I've probably ever felt is playing football without a nail on my big toe. And that's painful, let me tell you. Actually, no, broke a metatarsal once. Just played through that, obviously. Soldier that I am. But, this guy hasn't looked right. And if it is healing up, if it was an injury, if it is just confidence. I don't know. I just hope he needs to close that door and he needs to fly again. Sam also says, I feel the frustration. I'm really looking forward to him next season. I hope so. Yeah, the PSG save was just genuinely brilliant, wasn't it? From Donnarumma. Disheartening, of course. He says pure luck. I'm not sure, Viggs. It was a great save for a big man to get down to his left so strong, and then a strong left hand. It's a phenomenal save. I think he would have scored that. He would have had the game of his life. Sad that his confidence was down all season. Yeah, again, don't know if it was confidence, injury, hunger, whatever. Tiredness of being a young dad. I don't know. First time dad. Who knows? But I want to see more of that, Skip, next season, because you've got it in your locker and you are a phenomenal player on your day, and we need you, quite simply. Right, so where does it leave us this season? Back-to-back Golden Gloves for David Raya, of course, sharing it with the Forest goalkeeper Sells. Forest, of course, so unlucky today. Chelsea wankers winning their game in the Champions League. There you go. Forest unlucky. But David Raya means he has now got back-to-back Golden Gloves, which is fantastic. Only for Arsenal to be linked with Joan Garcia, £20 million Espanyol goalkeeper, although apparently Barcelona are in the hunt now. So I wonder what Mikel's got to do. Whatever happens, we need to buy a goalkeeper, obviously, because Setford's probably just too young. Karl Hein probably isn't gonna be it. And Neto goes back from his loan. So there is a vacancy there for a reserve goalkeeper. I wonder if Aaron Ramsdale has a relegation release clause. Would he want to be number 2 again? Don't know. Let's not go there. Lucas Fabianski, anyone? Retiring? 39, 40 years of age? Nah. Szczesny. See, I could do this all day. But listen, there is something there for him to address. It'd be really interesting to see what Mikel Arteta does. Is he going to go for a new number 1? Ironic that Raya's got the new number 1 shirt now. But I would like to see pressure on Raya. But I'd also admit to you guys, and I think I said this in the last couple of weeks, I never really understood what it meant when Arsene Wenger used to say mental fatigue for goalkeepers. I just used to think to myself, like, you're in goal. Like, how tired how tired at all can you get? But the concentration that David Raya has to have as a ball-playing goalkeeper now, someone who advances and just drops into that left centre-back role as that sort of sweeper keeper, is immense. And we've seen in the last 4 to 6 weeks, like little drops, lapses in concentration, hospital passes, passes into danger. Like, I get it. I really get it. So that mental fatigue, he needs a rest, needs a breather, and we need a very competent number 2. Jonathan K was the breaking news, says Mateus Cunha has just agreed a 5-year contract with Manchester United. They will now approach Wolves this week. He has a £62.5 million release clause, and that is Ben Jacobs confirmed. I feel like we need some big-time music. Breaking news on Latte Firm. There you go, Jonathan K. Thanks for the not so exclusive, but it's a story nonetheless. O'Malley says Joan Garcia is a much better goalkeeper with Raya than with his feet. He is. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. I say he is. I'm not sure if I don't know if he's better than Raya. I'll take your word for it. It does feel like a very Mikel Arteta thing to do. We're crying out for forwards. Not any of our forwards scored double-digit goals in the league this season. And of course, the first thing that Arsenal Football Club go and do is spend £20 million on a goalkeeper. Galfo says, poor old Forest. What a story it would have been. Villa will be kicking themselves with Newcastle losing at home to Everton. Wow. What a calamity that was. We'll come into the league table in just a second. O'Malley's also saying, big up Mbeumo. He's had a great season, hasn't he, for Brentford? There is a player there that I think 1 or 2 clubs will be looking at, and depends on who's brave enough to take that plunge. Matthew, welcome to the show. Says Liverpool didn't spend anything last summer. Now they're going to empty the bag this summer. Be afraid, people. Yeah, look, I mean, Florian Wirtz, 150 million euros, 125 million pounds, that is. Kerkez, 35-40 million pounds. Jeremy Frimpong, 30-odd million pounds. So that is 200 million pounds already. And they lifted the trophy just today. So it is going to be a serious window. And Donald says he'd been for Eze big time. We're going to talk about transfers throughout the summer. Let's focus and finish on this game and the final weekend. There are the league table, courtesy of PremierLeague.com. So the final day, Liverpool played 38, 84 points. Arsenal finished 10 points behind. Liverpool haven't won a game since they were crowned champions. Lol. City climbing into third and staying third, having beaten Fulham on the road today. They were always going to get Champions League football, and Pep Guardiola's men are there. And Chelsea, Enzo Maresco's team, winning at Forest to go 4th. And they are now in Champions League football, which is an almighty shame because they would have been in financial tatters. And it's so frustrating. And Newcastle, as a few of you have mentioned in the chat, losing to Everton at home, Moyes' boys, but the incompetency of both PGMOL and Unai Emery costing Aston Villa European football at the top table next season because they lost to fucking Man United. Oh, I heard Ruben Amorim's post-match speech talking around when I came to this club in the 3 games. We won 2 and drew 1. I talk about the storm coming. Oh, fuck the accent, haven't I? And then he said, now I'm 6 months in and we finished 16th. The good times are ahead. He's got some audacity, that man. Let me tell you. V Vlad says Spurs, though, 22 losses in a 38-game season. That's what I mean. They goal difference of -1. 17th. They couldn't even make 40 points. That 40 is always that golden number, right? Any other season they go down. O'Malley says Villa in the Europa League, a la the Unai Emery playground. Maybe that's what Unai Emery wanted all along. Joao Pedro would be a solid option, says Tavo Ruiz. Can play false 9 or left attacking midfield. We have been linked with Joao Pedro for some time. And I understand that he is still high on the list, but I'm just hoping there are 1 or 2 names slightly higher. Let's hope for that. And listen, another player that someone just caught my attention, Morgan Rogers. Shepo says, after Zubamendi, Rodrigo, and Sesko, we should go out and get Morgan Rogers. What a player he would be. I want a powerhouse. Did you guys see McTominay this season? No, let's not go there. But I want a powerhouse midfield. I want a box-to-box engine. I want someone who just, gallops through players, eats up grass. If it could be Morgan Rogers, that would be phenomenal. Zubamendi, though, it looks like he's going to be our first edition. And there will be a breakdown. Breakdown season is upon us, coming very soon. Jugsby says that accent was legit. I am Manchester United manager. I can't do it. It's terrible. Dan says, McSauce, you know it, mate. A lot of you all know personally that I've been raving about Scott McTominay for almost 3 years. I wish we signed him from United, but there we are. Wobajog says, positives of next season. 1, no more Emery. Is better than Arteta. Fair. 2, Newcastle won't have to fake rivalries with half the league because Sunderland is back. And 3, United are toast. United are toast. They are in complete disarray. They are a shambles of a team. They are terribly run. They have financial problems. We said it on the Late Night Lounge on Friday. Any players that you guys would nab from United? Kobe Mainu, maybe? Alejandro Garnacho, maybe, as a wide player? Don't know. V Vlad says, wouldn't be an FK show without McSauce. McDominate. McScudetto. Louis says, McTominay is the Leo Messi of Aaron Ramsey's. Yeah, I'll take that. Away says, let's hope for some news regarding Victor Gyökeres this week. It looks like Manchester United are going to be really interested in him. Cheeto. Yeah, there you go. Cheeto didn't really do anything, did he, after his big move and all his social media posts? Would anyone take Mohamed Kudus? There's a player. Speed, power, trickery, technique, ball control, ball striking. Is he consistent enough, though? And does he work hard off the ball? That's the criticism that I get. Matthew says, Rice needs to be our box-to-box guy, but we need goal-scoring options for midfield like Liverpool have. We need goal-scoring options, full stop, Matthew. For no Arsenal player to get double-digit goals in the Premier League is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Nothing more to say than that. You cannot be competing for a title if not one player scores 10 goals in the Premier League. That is an abysmal stat. It is an appalling stat, and it is one that kind of sums up the season for us. But there we are. So that is it, my friends, ladies and gents, boys and girls. The season is over, and I am, quite frankly, very pleased to see the back of it. It's been very, very testing. We finished second. We finished trophyless. The penalty exit to Manchester United in the FA Cup. The semi-final exit to Newcastle in the League Cup. And, of course, Paris Saint-Germain, who, of course, play against Inter Milan in the final, knocking us out in the semi-final. And, of course, finishing second in the Premier League for Arsenal for the 3rd time. And last time that happened. We're going to leave it there. I appreciate all of you. I really do. I'm just going to take the last minute to kind of just say thank you from my heart for all of the viewing, for the comments, for the chat, for the Patreon support. You guys are just tremendous. I've also had, the best moments have been meeting some of you. Really, really. Dave took my breath away when Guna73, I don't know if he's still watching. He is still watching. Says great action show as always. Dave, you really touched me, man, this season. You know, you've supported the channel, you've been a Patreon member. Sure, I've given you match tickets, but you've come to the Emirates and you gave me that box of chocolates for the kids, which I cannot tell you how much that meant to me. I've met Pazza the cat. So many of you, just chatting to Karen. She's always in the chat. You guys lift me and you guys make me get through some of this stuff. And I just find it very, very enjoyable talking to you guys. And I'm just grateful that you tune in, and I'm grateful for everything. So look after yourselves. There is a Vic says goodbye to the season from hell. O'Malley says big up to FK. You've been great. Thank you for the content, my guy. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Do you know what, Wojabog? I chuckle when Southampton fans. Yeah, no big second again. Ole, ole. Obviously, they're now relegated. Jonathan says top show. Enjoy the summer. Don't believe all the transfer rumors. I absolutely won't. Galvo says it's a great show, mate. Always on point. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Oysin showing the love. Man in the mirror. Thank you for tuning in. Says enjoy your summer. We'll be back. There will be transfer content, daily content, like little sort of 10-minute shows. How's your day been? What's been going on in the world? What's the noise that's out there? Jags, says see you at the Emirates soon, bro. Jags, it'd be a pleasure. It'd be a pleasure to see you. Lots of people saying they didn't get the notification tonight. Andy Love, sorry, man. It was a last minute. Do you know what? There needs to be more routine to the program next year, because I appreciate it's basically me just juggling around life and kids and work. I just, if I fancy doing a show, it'd be like half an hour notice and we go. There's got to be more routine. I appreciate that feedback. And let me know. Drop me a message. My DMs are open, Latte Firm on X. If there's anything you want to see on this channel, any particular people, any particular types of shows, we'll have more of them, I think, next season. Right, we're going to leave it there. Until next time, look after yourselves. We'll be back very soon. But it's all over. And next season, we go again.